Ashlyn says she didn't plan on popping up on so many people's phones, but now that she has, she's running with it.
When you're walking and someone comes up behind you, it makes sense to move to the right. So why don't we do that when we drive? TikTok is not the only social media app that collects our data. But the White House isn't threatening to ban apps like Facebook despite multi-million-dollar lawsuits. So why TikTok? Jensen says when an athlete is heckled by a supporter of the opposing team, it's almost a compliment because it means you're good and they're trying to get under your skin. That sucked! The real problem is when an athlete is booed by their own fans. If you have a phone, you've probably gotten a call that warns you of a potential phone scam. Unfortunately for us, not every attempt is as obvious as scam likely. Sunny out right now, but there is some leftover snow like you said from our weekend storm. Like you heard earlier, Utah has reached a new record snowpack this year, which is a stark contrast to the record that was made last year. I'm standing at the start of the race where runners are about to begin the 100-mile journey to Fish Haven, Idaho. Only 1% of those miles are run on pavement, and you're looking at it. I'm inside the Ag Science bathroom where USU girls have had access to free period products since last summer. Within the past month, K-12 schools across Utah have done the same. I found out what having access to these products means for students. While you might think the winter weather is solely to blame for high crash rates, even if you take away the snow, a local shop says driving with this in hand, which we faked, is what gets them the most business.
Now, joining me live is Clayre Scott. So, Clayre, pedestrians aren't the only ones who are supposed to be watching out for cars, right? That's right, Katie. Cars have killed more cyclists this year than in the past 10. Now, Utah law says that bikers have 3 feet on the road, but as you can see, that's not that much room. I spoke with some bikers to see what they're doing to address the growing danger.
Justin Haslam sets off on his road bike, a rare sight these days after he was hit by a car.
I told my wife, Kim, if I was to die, that she should remarry. So it was like sarcasm and a joke, but it's probably something I shouldn't have said in hindsight.
10 years ago, Haslam was riding through Sardine Canyon from Logan to Ogden. Just as he was approaching the first exit towards Brigham City, a car hit him.
No, it's the last thing that I remember. Ended up landing on my back, apparently, and the reason I know that is because I've got scars up and down my back from it.
Chad Harris got hit too.
Ended up with fractured skull, fractured maxilla, broken zygoma.
For some, an injury is a grave reminder to be cautious.
I love cycling, and nothing's going to stop me from doing it.
For others, an injury can end a hobby they love.
I hardly rode bike anymore. It makes me pretty nervous.
Though 2022 isn't over, 0 fatalities reported, 15 cyclists killed in vehicle-related crashes, the highest in more than 10 years. With statistics like these, helmets aren't enough. While they protect the outside of their head, riders need to use the inside. Utah law states if you're biking, you should be alongside traffic and avoid riding on sidewalks.
When I come to a stoplight or something like that, I'm in the lane of the car, so they notice me there.
Harris says he stays aware, but distracted motorists are often to blame in auto bicycle crashes. It was one of them that hit Haslam.
Somebody in the car had kind of reached over to the other side, trying to grab something, and kind of pulled the steering wheel over towards me as well.
Drivers have a responsibility to watch out and be careful.
Visiting the Cash Humane Society, you'll find cages full of pets ready for adoption. With Christmas approaching, saving an animal by gifting it can seem like a win-win.
I want a pet for Christmas. Wouldn't that be cool?
Shelter workers say animals like Stormy need a home, but they aren't gifts.
When you adopt an animal from here, you're getting, the microchip registered to your name, you're getting all of the records.
So not only would it be hard to find the owner if the pet were lost,
We would have none of the correct information.
but the animal may not be a good fit for the home you're gifting it to.
The animal getting gifted to someone else and maybe they didn't want it is not good for the animal or the person,
So cute.
So Angus here wouldn't be the best Christmas gift, but what if someone wanted to adopt him for themselves?
Go for it. Adopt anytime you want. Whenever you're ready, you do it.
If you do have to return an animal after adopting, Strickland says it's not the end of the world.
We always encourage people to bring their dogs back or their cats.
When you're adopting, it can be tempting to buy younger puppies or kittens like this, but employees at the Cash Humane Society say there are benefits to buying older.
They've already got their things, so we know they're good with cats, we know they're good with dogs, we know that they're good with kids, we know that they're already house trained.
Strickland says adopting can be easy. Just make sure you're adopting for the right reasons and for yourself.
Those animals get a chance at a new life, and it really helps them out and helps us out too.
Clayre Scott, ATV News.
I'm just going to work on this one end and we'll forge weld those together. I'm a professional blacksmith and we build ornamental railings and light structure and forge our own knives.
It's just really, really cool. Kind of takes you back to your roots.
And then I'll just put a little rat tail finial on the end of it. I love teaching. It's so much fun to bring people in and be able to see and expose their talents, help them realize that it's not that hard.
Lonnie offered some classes and came over and got to see how the pros did it.
He's the best there is around. He's the nicest guy, and I was like, I would work for him.
And then how that's locked in there, that will be the scarf that we're after. That's welded enough that I can go into the fire and then I can bring it out. As long as I'm staying at welding temperature, I can bring it back and forth and keep going with it.
Sometimes these patterns will come out and you'll go, well, that's not what I was aiming for, but it's really cool.
Just a few years ago, I started digging more into it, saw some things that look really cool.
How many people can do images between the elk or the flag and a poem in it? There's a small handful of people that can pull it off in the United States.
I like being unique and being the oddball out, and some other girls like that too, and they give me pointers, they accept me for me, they don't treat me any differently.
See if we can get everything to line up a little bit.
You start with a bar of steel or raw steel and you turn it into something either functional or beautiful.
That's just the way the steel likes to work when you untwist it. It's just amazing to be able to take an ordinary piece of steel and heat it up and change its shape. Just draw on a taper on the end of it and give it some character and change it to whatever you want to.